In this video, we're going to be looking at measuring angles. Our objectives are to understand how to measure angles with a protractor, understand how to label and write angle measurements, and understand congruent angles. Our vocabulary that you need to look up for this one is angle, degrees, protractor, vertex, sides, angle bisector, incoming angle, outgoing angle. Here we have two angles, angle A and angle B. What we want to do is use what's called a protractor to measure the angle in degrees. Degrees are a type of measurement that goes in a circular pattern to help us measure angles. What this allows us to do is measure angles that are small and big and give us a more uniform measurement, just like a ruler does for straight lines. When we do measurement of angles, what we do is we write a little M that stands for measurement, the angle symbol, and then the name of the angle. So the measure of angle A is what we're looking at here. Now to measure, we're going to take our protractor, and if you notice on it, it should have a line, or this one has an arrow, at where we want the vertex to be. This is where the vertex goes. So here's A. This bottom part here needs to go on one of the two sides. I'm going to pick this bottom side. It's a little bit easier. So we're going to put the vertex there, get the side down, and then we just have to look and measure. Since I'm on the right, I'm going to use the smaller numbers on the right and count to the left. So here's 0, 10, 20, 30, and it looks like about 32 degrees. So we'll label this 32 degrees, such as that. You can also put that measurement inside the angle. Now we have angle B here, so we're going to look for the measurement of angle B. Now when we measure this, I could take my arrow, put it at B, and turn my protractor like so. Or I could put it here and use the other side, and what I would have to do is now count from left to right. So here's 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way to 130, and it looks like about 135 here. So B looks to be about 135 degrees. Okay, I'm just going to practice doing this a couple of times, and then your job will be to practice it also. Here it's getting a little bit more difficult as there are many angles here. What we want to do is I've come up with 3 angles that I want to measure. So I'm going to have to turn my protractor a little to kind of see what's going on. I'm going to use my colored markers to kind of highlight what I'm doing. So we're going to start with an easy one. Measure of angle ABD. So A to B to D right there. That's the angle we want to measure. So my arrow or line on the vertex, and here's 0, 10, 20, 30, looks like about 34 degrees. And when you're doing the degrees, it's always going to be a little bit of estimating. Okay, I'm going to use blue this time for CBD. So I'm going to go C to B to D. So this is going to be this angle right here. It's always important to kind of notice where you're starting at. So here's CBD. So I'm going to start right here, and we're going to go there about. So here we're going to start at 0. We're going to make our way. Here's 30, 140. There's 145. Looks like 146 degrees. And our last one that we have here is DBE. So here's D to B to E right there, so that middle angle. So I'm going to have to turn my protractor now. So I'm going to turn it this way, get my arrow, try and line it up, and here's 0 all the way to 80, looks like about 85 degrees. Lastly, we have this angle, and I've got two angles I want to measure, angle WZX and angle YZX. So I'm going to measure these. I'm going to compare their measurements. So this one looks to be 30 degrees. And this one looks to be 30 degrees also. So what we have is we have two equal measurements of angles. So just like segments, we want to mark these as equal because they're equal. So I'm going, in this case, instead of just tally marks, we put a little arc in both of them, and we put the number of tally marks on that arc. So one tally mark means these two are the same measurement. That makes this ZX segment here the angle bisector. It cuts it in half. Okay, if there are any questions on this video or you need to watch something again, rewind, rewatch, and bring those questions to class. Thank you.